Today we are running through the Dollar Tree finding some everyday items as well as some new fall and Halloween items that we can put to good use. Make these over into gorgeous DIYs that only take a few minutes to put together. So first I'm grabbing one of these happy words. I thought this would pair perfect with one of the long MDF signs. They always put out tons of seasonal signs like this, so it's fun and it like dresses it up a bit more to add this huge word on top. I just glued that down. I put some tower blocks on the back for extra support, but then I feel like these went together really well because it's going to say Happy Harvest. So how perfect is that? It really worked out for me there. I went ahead and secured it with some extra hot glue, but what really makes this pretty is adding in the extra floral. So the H and the A has a lot of space in between the board, so getting to fill that in with tons of greenery and fall beads and floral pieces. I even add a few little pumpkins in there. Really makes this look like a gorgeous piece, and I didn't have to paint anything. This only took a couple of minutes to put together, just hot gluing everything down. I love how this turned out and would be perfect to display with that perfect pop of color for the fall season. So all you need for the next project is to grab two large plastic bowls from the Dollar Tree. I really like these two. They had like the kind of a texture, but it wasn't like a crazy texture on the outside. It still looks like a pumpkin, and I'm taking some orange spray paint. Now the key to this is you don't want to do a super thick coat of spray paint. You want to lightly paint it so that you can still see through it, because I'm going to add some lights inside and I want that to be able to shine out. So you can see whenever you put your hand in there, you can see through it. So just do a few very light misty coats instead of just like getting the spray paint really close and painting it thick. And then after these dried, all I did was use some leaves as well as one of these Dollar Tree little wooden pieces and glue that right on top, and this looks like the cutest little pumpkin. You can add a light inside. Definitely use an LED light so it's super safe, especially putting a lid on top of it, but I thought this worked out perfect. Put a candle in there, put the lid on there, and this is a perfect shape for a pumpkin and would be gorgeous as a centerpiece. So Dollar Tree has been carrying these packs of 5 wooden rings, and I think this is one of the first times that I've ever used them. So I can't remember a DIY where I've actually used these before, so I had to try to use them before they became an old item. So I'm using some fabric, and I had this really fun idea. So I am going to try to make a pumpkin garland. I needed to make little pumpkins, so I'm gluing the rings to the fabric. Now you do want sets of 2 of these rings, and it is a pack of 5, so I did use 2 packs so that I would get 5 pumpkins total, doubling these rings up. So all I'm doing right now is gluing all of these down to the fabric, and then I'm going to cut them out and make them look like a pumpkin. I'm going to separate all of these by cutting them apart, and then I'm going to get as close to the edging or hot glue as I can. I'm just cutting the excess fabric away. Next, I am stacking these up, so back to back with this piece of jute twine in the middle, so that's going to hold it together. So I am hot gluing those together and then adding 3 wooden beads in between each of the pumpkins. Now, I get questions about my wooden beads all the time. I always pick them up at Hobby Lobby, and right now is a great time to pick them up. They put out these huge strands of wooden beads for the fall season, and I get them whenever it's the 40% off, so super inexpensive. Sometimes I use them on the strand and just like staple them to the back of a frame to hold it up, or I can actually cut the end, pull as many beads as I want off, and then tie the end back. So super handy to keep on hand. I definitely grab like 4 or 5 strands of them whenever they do put out their fall decor. But put those in between each of these little DIY pumpkins. I did put a tassel at the end. So of course these don't really look like pumpkins right now, but the key to this is to go out in your backyard and pick up any type of stick, any small stick, and then I'm using my miter shears to trim these down into little pieces, and this is going to actually look like the stem. So they kind of look like pumpkins, kind of look like apples. Let me know in the comments down below, but I thought these were adorable. I put a little stem on top, and then I had some greenery. I cut off tiny little leaves, so glued that at the top. So apples and pumpkins definitely are both a fall item. So let me know in the comments which one that you think it looks like, but I think these do look like little pumpkins, especially decorated with other fall decor. And then of all of the Dollar Tree signs, this one is one of my favorites. It's got this green watercolor truck with the little arrows at the bottom. I thought this was adorable, but I don't always love hanging tiny little Dollar Tree signs all over my house. I feel like it looks cheaper. To make this look super nice, grab one of Hobby Lobby's pre-made signs. Now they have a huge 90% off of like summer and spring going on right now. So you can find old signs that you can remake, paint over. I do this all the time. If you don't even want to go to Hobby Lobby, just take 2 of Dollar Tree's signs, and I have a ton of tutorials on my channel about painting faux wood and like using sandpaper to get the little board effect. So many ways that you can make a new background. But the point of this is to pull the truck and these little signs off of that jute twine hanger, and then get it on like a sturdy sign. And then it did have this little bow, so I am just attaching it to the back of the truck. So many places you could put it, but this is so gorgeous. This looks like a super nice sign that I would have went to like Kirkland's or a higher end store and purchased, but this just costs a few dollars to put together. I always get my signs 50% off when they have huge sales, so under 10 bucks made this adorable sign, and it's one of my favorites. I think these Dollar Tree signs are really cool. They have the little cutout, they have the metal in the back. I wanted to make them over just to be a little bit different, make it fun. So the first thing I did was pop out the metal piece. I'm going to put these to the side because I'm going to save those and use it. But I didn't love all of the glitter and stuff on the front of these signs, so I'm flipping them over to make more of like farmhouse or neutral decor pieces. So the first thing I did was sand away any of the excess glue and then cut these down. So I thought it would be fun if they were more of like a smaller square shape. So I'm using one of Dollar Tree's wood pieces to use as a guide, and so not only as a straight edge, but also as a measurement, kind of like that little board wide, which is a couple of inches from the top and the bottom of this pumpkin, and that's going to give it like that perfect shape and make the pumpkin like look like it's in the exact middle. So did this for both of the signs, and then make sure that you do sand around the edges to get any of the excess paper off. And then taking some mineral colored chalk paint, I wanted to go ahead and brush over the entire thing, and then after this is dry, I do sand it just a tiny bit. I wanted to play around with these and not make them exactly the same. For the leaf, I just glued the metal piece right back on it like it was. For the pumpkin, I did cover it with this same orange fabric that I used in the garland earlier. I just feel like this is one of my favorite fabrics from Dollar Tree. It's this darker color, not a bright like cartoony orange. So I went ahead and wrapped this pumpkin with that with the hot glue very carefully, not to burn my fingers, and then glued it into the sign the same way. The backs didn't look very pretty after all that gluing, so I did cover them with some craft paper, glued the little bow on the pumpkin, And then I drilled some holes at the top so that I could add in a rope hanger. This makes it look so nice. And then I love to tie the knots in the front of the sign and then kind of ravel out the edges so it does, I don't know, just gives it a little bit more of a decor look rather than hiding the rope in the back or hot gluing it in the back. So I love this. And then to finish it off, I'm using a tiny little black permanent marker. This actually came with my Cricut Joy, but you could use any type of permanent marker, and then lightly added some little stitches around the edges. I was so amazed to find these huge lanterns at Dollar Tree. These are a great size, bigger than like any lanterns that I've ever seen at Dollar Tree, so I loved them. But I wasn't crazy about the super bright orange color. I knew I wanted to make these over. They have like these pumpkin ones in the bright orange. They also have a set that are black with skeletons as the design. But I love the pumpkins, but wanted them to go more with like some of my neutral decor. So I easily was able to pop the tops off and then remove the little LED light that's in the bottom. And these do take AAA batteries, so you can put your own in there. But I decided to spray paint these this granite gray color. These were very easy to take the top off and spray paint them. I did sand them down a tiny bit so they would have a little bit more of a rough edge and the paint would stick a little bit better, but completely painted these, let them dry, and then brought them in and used some of my elephant colored chalk paint to kind of dab on a little bit of extra paint, and that's going to not only blend in the imperfections, if any of the orange was showing, but also just add a little bit of extra texture. So love how these turned out. It's so easy to put these together, but I feel like they are absolutely gorgeous, and they put off like this fun like orange light, so they're not silly colorful or anything, but like look really good paired with the orange pumpkins. And then next up is a great way to use these metal plaques from the Dollar Tree. All you have to do is remove the rope that is attached to the top of them, and then we're going to decorate this and put it in like a wooden picture frame, but we are going to be removing the glass. So I go ahead and decorate this. I'm just using a small little pumpkin from Hobby Lobby, but Dollar Tree has small little wooden pumpkins. I put one of these Dollar Tree wooden words at the bottom, glued everything down before I do attach it to the frame. To attach it to the frame, I start by removing everything in the frame, including the glass, gluing down some tower blocks just to elevate it a little bit, and then gluing the metal piece on top. I do secure the back with some extra hot glue, but this is a really fun piece. It's in neutral colors, but I really love how it brings in all of that texture. And I love going through Dollar Tree's fall greeting cards. There's so many ways that you can take this image and use it several different ways. So I like to frame these. They make gorgeous art, perfect for little like trays or table or shelf decor, but also like cutting them out and hanging them up on bulletin boards or scrapbooking with them is a great way to put these to good use. I love this one with the pop of the orange truck as well as the little banner. So first thing I'm going to do is share with you how I put it in a frame. Thank you all so much for checking out today's video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy crafting. Bye.